man by his outer achievements, this podcast dares to explore what truly defines a man of character. We unpack the challenges and triumphs that shape men's lives, bringing to light stories of resilience, compassion, and unshakable faith. We believe that the heart of a man is a treasure trove of untold stories, powerful lessons, and profound wisdom. Through authentic dialogues and insightful discussions, we aim to unlock these treasures, one story at a time. So, whether you're seeking guidance, inspiration, or simply a moment of reflection, you're in the right place. Get ready to be challenged, inspired, and transformed. And now, to guide you through this journey of discovery, please welcome your host, a visionary leader and a true catalyst for change, Dwayne Dwyer, but we affectionately know him as the Mindset Coach.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to the chat. My name is Tawan McGaddy, the son of Timothy, also known as the Available Man. I'm your main co-host for tonight. Above me, my two brothers that's going to be hanging out with us tonight, having this great conversation. On my top left, we all call him Coach. Everybody know our big brother. I always want to call him Dr. Dwayne Dwyer, but we know him as the Mindset Coach. And then on the top right, my other big brother with the, exquisite salt and pepper beard going on, glowing tonight. There you go. Uncle Junior, but we know him as the Consistency Coach. How you brothers doing tonight? How y'all doing?
I'm doing good, man. Not well. Well and well, good and well and good. I'm doing both. Yeah, man. So, when you when you've been married and one person, there's a distance, when someone goes on vacation, Shell went away to go visit her family and stuff like that back home. So she was gone and we had just spent like a week together. And we had 2 days together after vacation, and then she was gone for a week. So, having that adjustment period and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Just, when you had that separation and then getting back together and stuff like that. So, didn't work and stuff. So, man, but all is well, man. I'm doing good. I'm doing well on this side of town. Got some rain today, so grass gonna get a little bit more greener. So I'm doing well.
Yeah, man. Same here. All is well. Busy week. I had a lot of fun with the students, captains, lieutenants, so forth and so on. A lot of interesting insights when it comes down to life in general, when you really get the opportunity to have these conversations with different people. So yeah, all is well. No issues whatsoever. How about you?
Man, it's kind of like Unc said earlier, busy but good week, productive week, and I feel good. Internet went out, rain started falling, got me a quick 40-minute power nap in while I waited for everything to get back up. But I feel refreshing. Y'all already know I'm here with my brothers, so it's
Can I have an alibi?
Mm-hmm.
I learned something. Wow, I relearned something. And what I relearned, I kind of want to share with you guys in the chat. I know everybody probably already know this, but in sometimes the simplest things, when they come to you, they can really resonate. So there's a difference between not talking and listening. And I'd already known that, but I think one of the things that I had been focused on was, you know, just not talking what someone is talking, um, versus actually, I mean, listening. I mean, yes, listening, but I think sometimes I was, I have been always someone to jump into the conversation and overtalk people. So one of the things I was doing was just trying to focus on not talking at the same time trying to focus on listening. But it was kind of like they're different, even though I already knew they were different. It was just kind of like a what's the word? Just I don't know. It just came back to me again. I just heard it again and just resonated with me again. So I don't know.
Okay, I'm curious. I gotta ask that happened during the introduction. I just want to understand.
No, I was just thinking about it, just in general. You know what I mean? It was just something that I learned this week. You know what I mean? Because like we always talked about, we was busy, and you talked about your gauntlet, and he was busy, and I started back school. So we always busy, but are we learning anything in the case of just being busy? One of the shows that we're gonna have on Coach's Corner coming up we're gonna talk about that. So, and I think tonight's conversation we'll be talking about that a little bit too. It seems like.
I love that, and we slide in that plug too for our upcoming shows. I love it. I love it. Hey, shout out to the livest chat here on these social media airs on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you're catching us at. Do me a favor, if you are watching us, one, go ahead and hit the like button. If you've got us on whatever social media platform, follow if you aren't already follow, subscribe if you're on YouTube, and turn on your notifications. But in the chat, shout out to Sister Nick D, Sister Charlotte Jordan. Good evening. Good evening. We got Crystal Everett, sis. Good evening to Sister Lisa Keys, Adrian Artis. If I'm missing anyone, if you would like that shout out, go ahead and put a comment in there so we can see you. We know that you're here, you're active. Shanitha Burns, it's good to see you this evening. I'm ready to get into this conversation. I'm ready to rock. So tonight's conversation, we're talking about why our careers are dating our partners. You ever been in a new space, got a new job, and you're excited, and as you're working, you're trying to understand this life, family, work balance, right? And as the career is getting better, opportunities are open up. Things can get lost in our hindsight, and what we're trying to address today is how do we continue to create that balance between career progression and sustaining our relationships and our family relationships at the same time. So we're going to follow a story path tonight, and our brothers are going to kind of talk us through how do we sustain and how do we keep this thing going. So tonight we're going to meet Dwayne and Whitley. Some of y'all may be familiar with them, but we're going to meet them tonight in our conversation. So Dwayne and Whitley have been married for 15 years. They both work and they both made a promise not to allow their career progression to get in the way of the growth of their marriage. Now, after having 3 kids, Whitley decides she no longer wants to work until the children are older. This lights a fire under Dwayne. He begins to take on more projects and takes more initiative at work in hopes that his career can supplement what used to be a 2-income household. Now, as time goes on, my apologies, started having some difficulty. So as time goes on, Dwayne has advanced largely through his company, allowing him to take care of the family. They eventually buy a bigger house, nicer cars. The kids are in private school, and Whitley gets to live the lavish life that she once dreamed, right? So this is our baseline story for today. You could bring me back. we're going to start our conversation right here dealing with good old Dwayne and Whitley. All right, not Dwayne Dwyer, but uh, but y'all know I like my names. I like to use my characters. All right. Um, so we're kind of going to guide the ship together with this conversation. So first off, let's put our disclaimer out there as we have this conversation. First and foremost, everyone on here, we believe that we know what we're talking about. We speak from our experiences. We speak from our own understandings and education, but we are, at the least, experts of our own opinion, of our own perspective, and we respect everyone's perspective. So as we go through this conversation, go ahead and keep lighting up the chat. Uh, Stay in this conversation, and let's get this show on the road. So our first part of this conversation is called "Choose Your Path." So as we go through this, keeping in mind our base story, we're going to kind of talk about what direction or what paths are better for our couple tonight. All right. So here are our choices. Choice A, right? After work, as Dwayne, you come home and you start talking to Whitley about work. Or B, you come home, take a minute to yourself and talk about Whitley's day. C, you go out with some of the guys at work. It helps you build connections and build relationships. Or D, you come home, eat, and both of you talk with the kids at the dinner table and talk after the kids are down. What is our best path uh, in life with this newfound career and progression?
All right. So based off of all of that story, seems like things are going good. Am I to assume that, she's living a good life? He's been promoted. The kids are in private school. Seems like things are going pretty good. So what we need to talk about? You know what I'm saying? So maybe go out with the guys. Seems like everything is going good just right now based off of everything. So I mean, I'm just going just based off of the story at face value. Right now, and I'm not saying an issue. It seems like they're already having conversations. Maybe they're already talking and stuff. Maybe I missed something in the story. But it seems like things are going good. I mean, the kids in private school, she at home, he working. As of right now, nothing that's came up. She hadn't said, "Hey, I want to go back to work. Hey, I'm tired of cooking and cleaning and picking up your drawers." He hadn't said, "Hey, look, I'm tired of working all these extra shifts. Y'all ain't being appreciative around here." I'm assuming maybe the kids are doing good in the school. So right now, I don't everything good. If you want to go out with the guys, well, I mean, I ain't really go out with the guy. I ain't really go out with the guys type of thing. But I'm just messing around. But at the end of the day, man, probably just, come home and eat. You know what I mean? Talk if y'all need to. But it seems like they probably already got some of these things going on. But yeah, I'm going with whatever the family choice is. So it seems like more of the D right now in my stage of life. It's gonna be D. And that's come home and eat, both of you, and talk to kids and table talk. And then after all the kids go to bed, whatever like that, maybe y'all talk and chat some more.
I say E, work on child number 4. No, I'm joking.
What part of D? It's D plus.
It's D plus. I got you. Yeah, I don't. I'm just not a fan of talking about work. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that kind of eliminates A. Sure, yeah, we can talk about her day because her day is pretty much at home with the kids. Now the kids in private school, so I guess that means we're talking about something different instead of talking about what went on with the kids. I mean, if it's me, we're talking about what you were working on because that's something that we agreed upon prior to all of this. That was probably part of the condition of you staying home. I got the whole narrative in the beginning, but yeah, that don't work for me. But if you agree to stay home, it's because, right, there's a purpose behind it, not just because you don't want to work or just because you want to stay home until the kids get older. Okay, so when the kids get older, then what? So it has to be something that we're working towards. So when I come home, we'll talk about that, and something of that nature. Sure, eventually we're going to eat. Sure, we're going to talk to the kids. Sure, we're going to lay them down, put them to bed, whatever that looks like. So yeah, I think it's someplace between B and D.
Yeah, I'm right there as well. And it was crazy is, when we making our show notes, we kind of start trying to see what I think this person gonna say this. And I knew Unc was going to joke with C. I don't know why, but I knew that was going to happen. But I think C is a sometimey thing. I think it's important to have the ability to say, hey, some of the guys from work are going to get together afterwards, But I think the key for all of these are really just a communication thing, like honest communication. If you don't want me going out with the guys, don't just yes, 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 and then get mad later, you know. But it's not an everyday thing. So I definitely like the idea, like Coach said, like in between B and D. But for me, the especially we got 3 kids and they in school, private school, whatever. Let's sit. Let's especially you at home. Let's do some family dinner. I don't want to sound, I don't want to ring nobody alarms, but if I'm at home working and providing a really good life, I don't see what the problem with being able to sit down and eat when we get home. Talk as a family, and then that conversation by ourselves when the kids go to bed might turn into to D plus. Yes, sir.
Oh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Let's see what we got. Sister Charlotte Jordan said, "Is that new house gonna cause him to spend more time at work, and his wifey okay with it?"
Wait, wait a minute. That was part of the agreement when we bought the house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. It's too late not to be okay with it now.
Mm-hmm.
You got to lean forward in the foxhole, Chief. This happening.
Yeah.
You got them keys. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'm right there at it. You know what I mean? Hey, it might mean that I have to work a little bit extra hour, but it seemed like just in this situation that she's okay with everything. You know what I mean? If he is working the extra hours, she, as of right now, as of where we're at in the story, right now, everything is okay. She has agreed to it. He's agreed to it. Everything hunky dory right now. At some point, maybe number 4 is on the way. But as of right now, as far as that, I understand what Charlotte Jordan is saying, but as of right now, everybody okay with it. So if there was an issue with it, I think there's a room for conversation. But then we also had to go back. We also wasn't in agreement, or we hadn't had a conversation about you staying at home before either. You adjusted the plans too, and I went along with it, and I said that it was okay. You know what I mean? And then we done kept on moving and moving, because when we got together, it wasn't nothing in the story that's saying that it seems like she was working, and then at some point she decided, hey, I don't want to work anymore. I want to stay at home with the kids. They had a conversation. They talked about it. They were in agreement. She was able to stay at home. He started working more. So,
see, these are the conversations I have issues with, right?
mm-hmm.
Because there is only one solution to this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you don't like it don't mean my work schedule finna change. So the only solution that's left out of this conversation is for you to find a space to where you become okay with it. Mm-hmm. That is one of those it's like the only reason we would have that conversation is for me to make you feel better about reality.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, adulthood got to kick in. Like, you got to understand this thing that we got going on right here. Like, even to the C point, hanging out with the fellas. Like, depending upon what type of job you got, that's expected when you have like the CEO and the CFO or whatever like come to town. They're expecting you to go out with them and eat after dinner so you can have corporate conversations. And it's going to be an open bar and all that other great stuff. I might be talking from experience, but that's okay. So all of that stuff gonna happen. And at the end of the day, you're just gonna have to understand those things. What you ain't gonna do, especially depending upon how high up the food chain you are. What you ain't gonna do is tell the CEO and the CFO, "Oh, I ain't gonna, my wife ain't gonna, she ain't gonna agree to me not show." Really? We go after the CFO and the CEO and they all here. We getting ready to go to I don't know, wherever after work. I'll be home probably about 7, 8 o'clock tonight. It happens that way. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you might well just hand them over.
And y'all kind of put a different a little twist in my mind, because there's another conversation that needs to be had. If you do decide to go back to work, the kids get older and we decide we don't want baby number 4, are you expecting me to regress in how much I put into this career to give as a lifestyle now that you're working?
But is that a realistic conversation again? Because at the end of the day, our lifestyle is built upon the job that I have.
Yeah.
Not the career that you're looking to make after you done took about 7, 8 years off from it.
Right. And that's a whole nother dynamic.
Yeah, because what if in 5 years you decide you don't want to work no more? You already said it once. What if number 4 come along and now you want to take another 6 or 7 years off after you done been back to work for 2 years?
Right.
You can't depend on that.
Right.
I can't dumb down my lifestyle and my job to fit some utopian vision that you want to accomplish based off of it being a new year and you creating a vision board. Oh, hold on. Let me mute my mic.
But here's a real thing, right? I bought my house 5-6 years ago. And since I bought my house, every year my property taxes have gone up. I haven't moved, I haven't bought a bigger house, but my mortgage is $500 more than what it was. And I tell you, the thing that has kept me from having to redirect how my spending is allocated is because I got promoted on the job. I'm able to supplement that because so we buy this bigger house, property taxes go up too. We got to maintain what we got. So I can't just get comfortable and stay right here because I'm getting more projects, or however this job dynamic goes. So, and so to Lisa Key's point, she says there's so much to unpack because there leaves so much speculations that can be added to the scenario. And that's true. There's a reality to this. And that's why I kind of left it open, right, as we go through this conversation, because I want us to hit wherever we see, because our experiences are different. The 3 of us up here, our experiences are different. So we see different avenues coming at us, right? We see different things that can come at us. So that, we're bringing that out. So, but also in the chat, y'all bring those things out. I'm just listening. Bring those things out and those questions out. Let's hit it. Let's hit these different dynamics. Those things that even you may have questions about. It's going to help someone in the chat going forward in this conversation. All right, I was about to ask how you brothers feeling. That's how we feeling. Let's roll. All right. Whitley feels alone because Dwayne is consistently at work late and doing after hours socializing with coworkers to continue building these relationships, kind of like our Dwayne that already pointed out. Right. So here go our pathway options. We got A, plan a family getaway. B, plan a couples getaway. C, plan a couples getaway with other coworkers. Or D, plan a cookout and invite some coworkers and their families, just kind of the idea of, let's introduce the wife, if it's not already happened, to the other wives or to the coworkers, and bring her into this dynamic, sort of say. How are you feeling about these options, brother?
E, come here, bring it in. They're there. That's all I got is they're there. That's all I got, man. I'm sorry. It's putting a Band-Aid on a wound. That's all it is. Any of those options aren't going to fix the problem. It's just going to pacify the problem. But once we come back from our vacation, once we're done eating up all the food from the barbecue and all that other great stuff, the same thing that you felt the way that you felt about is still there. So let's have the conversation. You lay it all out on the table. I'm gonna listen. At the end, I'm gonna give you a hug and say, there. Because there's nothing's gonna change. I'm sorry. This is the light. This is the wheel that we're on right now. And it's gonna keep spinning. So again, I mean, we can put the house on the market and go get us a 2-bedroom apartment and pack the kids on the couch and let them sleep at night. I mean, it's we got to kind of look at what what that means. You know what I'm saying? Now, the other side to it is that when you're not working, what are you doing as well? That's a whole nother conversation. So you being lonely, are you lonely because I'm at work and I work long hours and blah 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 blah, or that's the focus. That's what you're focusing on at this particular point in time right now. But when I'm home, we're spending time together. Are you lonely then? Because I would tell you to shift your focus. You're focusing on the wrong thing right now.
See, all of that stuff right there. If you feel alone, that's a youth issue. That's a you thing. That's something that you got to work on. I can't make you. That's something that you got to work through on your own. You know what I mean? At work, like you said, what else are you doing with that time when you're at home? Yes, I think as spouses and so we contribute to that to a certain extent, but the actual feeling of alone, that's a personal thing. Like, even though my wife was gone, I didn't feel alone. You know what I mean? I was just in the house by myself, but I didn't feel alone because she wasn't here. You know what I mean? Because that's my wife. We together, we got a certain bond that connects us that goes beyond, the thousands of miles of wherever she was at. So, like you said, if she's feeling alone, that's her issue. Now, I do believe that having family time is important. You know what I mean? I do believe and think that I'm not going to sacrifice what we got going on, like you said, this will we got going on, because to soothe some feeling that you're going through right now because you don't have a certain amount of my time. Like you said, Coach, we can have another conversation about what you are or not doing with your time while you over there, especially when you got 3 kids.
Oh no, you good, Coach.
No, I'm just because I know as people are hearing this, they're like, oh man, they're rough, they're harsh, they're whatever the case may be. And I get it, right? I get it. But I also believe and this is why I talk about it so much, that stop rushing to the finish line. Stop rushing to the altar after about 2 or 3 months of knowing a person, because all of these things right here are beneath the surface. You're getting the best version of them in the beginning. That's the person that they want you to see. Give time. What you'll realize is that, oh, okay, now this person has shown up. And at the end of the day, is that version that I'm talking to you, that I'm talking to right now, the person that's quote unquote alone, is that person for the family or is that person for themselves? Because at the end of the day, you're talking about you. I'm out here working for us. So which one do you believe takes priority for the relationship? What I'm doing for us or what you're focused on as it pertains to you? Right. I like the fact that you mentioned about those kids, but remember, those kids are in school. So if the kids are in school now, what are you doing? Because again, that's why I say it ain't that you're just staying home just because. We're staying home because it's a purpose. We talked about it. It's something that you're working. So you're working as well. I'm sorry. I can't speak about Dwayne and Whitley. I'm talking about Dwayne and Dwayne. Right. That's what we're going in my house. Right. You're working as well. And you're working towards something that's meaningful for us. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. So once this agreement we got, once you get the ball rolling, then I can walk away from that and we can work on this together. That should be the plight. But at the end of the day, you can't say that, and you've seen this all the time in the Army, by the way, in the military. You can't say that, well, I'm the consummate military spouse, but then mad because, well, I had to go to the field for 30 days. That's part of me being in the military. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about that. So, but you feeling alone because I'm in the field. We talk every night. What do you want me to do? Just leave the field, steal a Humvee? Ooh, you know what I'm saying? What do you want? Like, let's be honest and realistic in our conversations, right? Because if we can't do that, if we can't be honest and realistic in our conversations, then conversations at that point is pointless, and they're all focused on you. So the answer is E. Bring it in. They're there.
Yeah, you remind me of something I seen in real life with a battle buddy. Had a homeboy. He was a lot older than us. He was a Citadel graduate. Decided not to commission. He lived his own life for 20 something years. They had teenage and grown kids, owned businesses and everything. You know, recession kicked in, businesses didn't move like they used to, and he ended up joining the military. After, NTC and the deployment, he's fighting for his marriage. And it's like, well, one, did y'all have a conversation about this life change going into the military? Two, y'all been married for 20 years. What was the marriage built on that this new career can dissolve your marriage in a year and a half, 2 years, and I can be biased because I don't know the whole, ins and out, but we think listening and thinking about these scenarios is like, well, what are our relationships built on if careers can destroy it so fast? Are we not standing? Because I hear it all the time. A lot of women who are career oriented leave marriages because they feel like the man is not supportive. Well, the man needs that support from the spouse as well. So if you need it, why don't he? And I don't think we really have these conversations in depth from that perspective or that conversation piece. It's like, what are we building these relationships on?
I don't need the support. I'm going out there and go get it anyway. Whether you support or not, you either can support and be on a team, or you can not support and you go play for another team. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that to be harsh, but like, if we in this together, like Coach said, we on this wheel right now. This is temporary. This ain't forever. At some point, I'm gonna get off the wheel. You know what I mean? If we working on getting off the wheel together, and we in it together, we got to understand that there are going to be highs and lows. There are going to be some lonely nights sometimes. There are going to be some times that we're going to have to go to a meeting. We're going to have to go and rub noses with so-and-so and so-and-so. We understand that this is what comes with advancing in your career. You may not like it, but it's just part of the game.
Right.
And you have to understand, or not, that this is what we have to do for the time being. The faster I can move up, and the more we can stash aside in this little nest, the faster we can get off this wheel, and we can have more time together to do all the other stuff. We can dress like twins and go to Disney World if we want to. I'm not. I'm just saying I ain't doing that. But if that's what you desire to do, then go ahead and do those things. But there's a plan and there's a vision in place in order for us to get there. And we can't just keep changing and adjusting the plan just because you feel a certain type of way. You'll get over it. They're there, as Coach would say.
That's it. I like what Samurai J. Antoine Crystal, good to see you, brother. Shout out to you. I like what Samurai J said, right? He said that type of understanding only happens when communication is effective. However, what I would say is that communication is only effective when understanding is available. If you're not trying to understand and you're trying to contort, manipulate, or shape, there will be no understanding, because the only understanding that's available to you is what it is that you're looking for out of the conversation. But if you go into the conversation trying to understand first, now communication can become effective.
I mean, if we keep it a buck, I think sometimes we know when to let go and when to hang on a lot better if we come into these conversations truly with our intent of what we want from this conversation. If you're coming into this conversation because you want me to change my work habits, you want me to do less on the job, you want me to take less initiative, and you want me to make less money after we've already built this life, then I think the conversation gets a little bit easier. Well, I'm not finna do that. Now you have a choice to make. But like you said, when we come in with manipulation tactics and we try to, I feel and my emotions means you got to change how you do things. now you're playing the game, and you really just. I'm trying not to. I'm gonna tread carefully, but
that word looked like it was painful. I just want you to know that.
Man, because I was about to go. I was like, no, I don't want to change the conversation. But we see things like that, and this is why I agree with you, brothers. And I'm not changing how I do business and because if I promote again, I'm probably gonna need to put even more time in. If I keep moving the ladder, I may have to work a little harder. And I think sometimes we got to be careful. Like I'm all for finding that time, that family life, that work family life balance, right? I'm all for it. But we got to be careful because here's the inconsistency in teaching. And I hate to be the guy to bring it up, but a lot of women are taught this whole nest egg concept, right? Prepare for the relationship to dissolve, put you something to the side, blah. But we know 9 times out of 10, this relationship dissolve, who's leaving with the kids? Who's getting the child support? So I have to be able to still sustain. So if I sacrifice and I put in less and I downgrade what I'm doing and you walk out, I still got to pay you this child support. I still got to pay. And if you're staying at home, I probably got to pay alimony alongside child support because you've become used to a lifestyle. What do I do now that I sacrifice my job? So I've given up for you and you leave. No one talks about how the dissolving of relationships affect the men, especially when you ask me to sacrifice for the relationship and then you leave. So these are real things. These are real conversations. Which I think about that, brothers.
I get it, brother. I get it.
Yeah, I agree. Again, it's just one of those things. Go into a conversation seeking to understand, not seeking to be understood. Now a conversation can be effective. I think that is so important. I think that's one of the things that most people miss. We want to talk about effective communication, and this is not at Samurai J. That's why I started off by saying I love the fact that he said that. This is not directed at what he is saying. I'm just saying that a lot of times we'll talk effective communication, but we leave the other part out of it. The other part is going into the conversation seeking to understand, not seeking to be understood.
And I think one last alibi about this thing is, them other things, talking about hanging out with the coworkers and stuff like that. I don't got too many coworkers that I want coming around my house. You know what I mean? So those C&D planning getaways with other coworkers and cookouts, inviting coworkers. I don't know if I really want to be mixing, my wife or my spouse with my 3 kids and a whole bunch of my coworkers. I think it does depend on what type of atmosphere you have at your job and stuff like this, or your place of employment. I know some of them are more family oriented than others, but I don't really want a whole bunch of military dudes coming over my house, especially if I got a little boy and a couple of little girls. You know what I mean? And I know we cool at work, but I don't really want everybody over my house. So just those 2 right there, very limited as far as who gets to come and spend time with the family. Everybody don't get to come over and break bread. We can go somewhere, maybe at the park, or we at a function out at Fridays or something like that. That's different. But
I agree, but I'll offer a different perspective as well.
Okay.
Now, it's not going to be a whole lot of them. It ain't going to be like a whole platoon of people coming to my house. That's for starters.
Yeah.
That's just period and point blank.
Yeah.
But there are, like I have a coworker, and he invites me to his house all the time, right? And every now and then, I don't go all the time. I go every now and then. And me, him, and his wife sit down and we just have great conversation. So in a scenario like that, like sure, I am without wife, but in a great conversation, in a great setting like that, like you got a coworker that is trustworthy, right? And you guys can kind of partake in doing those things. And that can also help her in her being alone as well, because now she has somebody that she can communicate with in the times that you both are gone. So just another way of looking at it.
Absolutely.
I agree. I think when it comes to these options, I get it all.
Man, you on E too. You on E.
No, so I get
The letter E. Just like
yeah,
you
yeah.
remember you said E? Yeah.
I'm not messing with you.
I thought you were trying to say the
I'm with
brother
it.
was out of gas. I was like, wait, what?
I'm with it because I'm with y'all. You know, and I came up in the military in artillery unit, so it was always somebody's house that we all was getting together to drinking, eating, playing cards. Right? That was just that's just how we got down. At least in the artillery world, that's a big thing. Getting together outside is you know, but I definitely feel that I'm not unsolicited. You're not coming to my house. But if I'm on, but there is a portion of, hey, we getting ready to deploy, or we just deployed, or we just came back from NTC, blah. If I got it, hey, man, let's go. Let's do a trip, you and me. Right? The kids can. I don't know. Maybe I'm different because I'm not big on kids. Ain't got to go on every trip I go on. Why? If somebody, if there's somebody that if they can go to Uncle Wayne house, you know what I mean? And Dwayne ain't watching the kid, I know. Like, not all 5 of them. Man, I'll make you some barbecue when we get back.
I got a big old backyard. I'll put them all out there and run them till they tired.
You ain't even doing it for money. At where you at in your life now? He over there. Telling the tale.
But right.
I ain't watching your kids for no money. I'm good. I don't need it no more.
Yeah. Hey, and that's because of the sacrifices that we've made to get to that point to where we can say, hey, I got this, and this coming, and I ain't got to, you know. But I don't know. That's me. Whether she's feeling lonely or not, I think for me that, and I don't want to think of it as preventive maintenance. Maybe that's just a military concept in me, but it's just like, hey, you know, let's do something together. Let's go together. I think that is important. Let's have our time. But do you think the trips and all that other stuff is overkill? Do you feel like there's a better opportunities throughout our day, our daily routine, to make sure that time is spent together?
I do. And that's why I said previously, like, sure, we can take a trip, but whatever we left is still going to be there when we get back, right? So, I mean, is it good to get away every now and then? Sure, I'm not against that. But if we have not solved the problem, then the problem is that we'll pick it right back up as soon as we get back. So, is there something better that we can do? Sure, we can focus on the time that we spend together being quality. Focus more on quality time, not quantity time. I think too many times in today's society, you got people in pursuit of quantity. I ain't got a lot of quantity to give you. And be honest with you. I'll say it again because I got a little tongue tied. I don't have a lot of quantity to give you. Make the most of the time that we do spend together. And if you do that, now there's value in that time. But if it's just quantity time, well, I just want to be up under you. Well, that sounds good, but let me explain something to you. I ain't got time for that. I'm be honest with you. I got stuff I got to do. You know what I'm saying? We got a show tonight. I got to prep for this show. I got this we're working on. We got a conference coming up. I got to do this. I got to do that. So you're going to have to understand that. That's part of the package. That's the conversation that we're going to have in the beginning, right? So if quantity is what you're looking for, you're going to be disappointed. But if you can be okay with quality, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it because I was thinking about that earlier. Like when you say, hey, I want to spend time together, or you spend too much time at work, and you say, well, what is it you want to do? Like you say, I just want to be up under you. But like, hey, you know, that's very unproductive. I don't want to sit around for 5 hours and watch Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to do something else. You know, there's a time and place for that. But I don't want to be missing out on promotions and advancements and rubbing noses with so-and-so to, you know, do whatever because you want to sit around and watch Netflix. You know what I mean? That ain't really how I see it, you know, so we ain't doing that over here. What is it that you want to do if you want to spend more time together? Like, but I'm just saying in general, not that I'm asking, just in general, rhetorical.
I think Dwayne kind of talked about that too when he talked about, you know, talking about you, the consummate military spouse. So I think the same thing can be true with Whitley. Like, you can come to some of these dinners with him. All that buying and shopping you're doing, get you some nice dinner dresses. And you don't need to be there to join the conversation and talk. He's doing business, but you can also, because I'm pretty sure like doing the CEO may bring his spouse, or what have you. And so those relationship buildings help. It helps when it comes time for promotion, when it comes time for projects, when it comes time for things like that. So there's that part. There is that piece too. You could become a part of what's going on and not just a benefactor at all. I could be stretching, but y'all let me know. Yeah. So let's continue this story. So some major projects have come up at work, and the senior executives find Dwayne to be the best person to take lead. Right, his initiative is paying off. Right, and this has caused Dwayne to end up having to cancel their family vacations or what have you more than 3 times because work is at hand. So here go our options. And I think we already kind of went here, but let's look at our options. A, if you're Whitley, right, let's take her into perspective. Tell Dwayne to prioritize vacation time. B, understand his vision and continue to support. C, find you some new friends so that your mind is occupied elsewhere or job. Or D, retail therapy. Go spend all this money. Buy you some Birkin bags or whatever. What say you?
Bravo. Understand his vision and continue to support. I was gonna say C, but no, worry about that guy over there. You know what I mean? That guy over there doing what he need to do. You know, you got a guy, he ain't running the streets. He ain't at home playing games all day long. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you get what you want. I mean, you getting exactly what you want and need. So I get it. I will tell you this. In 2005, I deployed to go to Iraq. In 2006, I came back. In 2007, I left again. I came back in 2009. I missed Christmas like 2 or 3 years in a row, birthdays, holidays. I did. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices, and sometimes the family gets the short end of the stick. But at the end of the tunnel, the family wins. You know, these are just small little battles in the midst of the big war or the big thing. These are just, and sometimes they can be huge, and sometimes those battles that we go through, sometimes they are big and they can be challenging, and you have to fight through them jokers. But at the end of it, when you win the war, it's all worth it. You know what I mean? So hang in there. You know what I'm saying? Understand his vision and continue to support that brother.
Yeah. I'm yeah, I'm with you there. I think B is the unsung soul winner. Now, I will make an adjustment, not taking B off the table. B is number one, numero uno. But I'm not against C, right? And here's why. Because I also believe that, again, kind of go back to what we've talked about a few times. I'm also believing that in certain connections, there are lines of creativity. In certain connections, there are contributions and things of that nature. So, friends, quality friends, right? I think you can find value in a very select few of friends that can actually help you do the things that you are working on or whatever that looks like. But B is definite answer. Like we talked about it before. There is no such thing as two visions in a household. If there are two visions in a household, the word two is die, right? That's division, right? So at the end of the day, understand what his vision is, and I won't even leave it at support him, help him accomplish that vision. That's where I'm at. To me, that's what support looks like. Like, I think too many times we confuse support, and we'll say, oh, well, I'm here and I'm cleaning, I'm taking care of the house while he's out, blah, 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 blah. Well, sure. If we're going to call responsibility support, then okay, got it. That's like me taking a shower in the morning. That's responsibility, right? That's the thing. Like, can you help me carry this bucket of water? That's the piece. Because if you can't even get in the house now.
I'm all in there. To be honest with you, I was with C. Like, yes, the support, because I think the support goes without saying, right? I need that helpmate to help me, right? That. Thank you. If you hear, right? Because I'm not saying that I can't do good on my job without a wife or a woman or a girl in my house. I can, right? But if you're here, be more than the person I'm taking care of.
Well, excuse me. Why were you rocking with C?
Because so that's
Pause.
and so that's what I'm getting to. Like, yes, the support, but find you something. You need to occupy your time and your mind. Some of the reason may be because you sitting at home just telling yourself whatever in your thoughts and in your feelings with nothing to regulate it. Find you a side hustle, find you a job, find you some friends, something. Get into yoga classes, get into or whatever whatever people do when they stay home. But find you something to do. I really do believe sometimes our idle mind is what gets us into thinking too much into things, right? And so that's why I was rocking with C. It's like, hey, I think some of this stuff, I think B kind of goes without saying. I think you understand that by now what I need from you in order to progress. But you need something. If we gotten this far, hopefully that conversation.
I mean, look at Whitley. It don't sound like she understand B. I'm sorry.
See to that, and what Gaddy was saying. When you're saying you're finding new friends, I get that. You're saying that your mind is occupied somewhere else, right? So if your mind is occupied somewhere else, are you really dealing with the fact, like, are you really still salty and upset and mad at him for, working and changing the vacation 3 times? So he's like, all right, well, I'm just not going to think about it. I'm just going to focus on this over right now and not deal with that. I think, and that's kind of sort of reason why I had a different perspective on that, and then I end up ultimately going with B, because I think B is more focused on them and the relationship and the support within the household, whereas C is her being more focused on her trying to deflect or to kind of get out of the situation. Now, I do understand your perspective too, and I definitely see it and understand it that way too. Having something else to do to keep your mind off of, oh man, my husband got 327 days before he come home. I got to deal with all 3 of these boys. You know what I mean? So I do understand that there is definitely a place to whereas your mind need to be free and be able to, but that all of that comes with just your balance in your life as well anyway. Like Coach mentioned earlier, what are you doing with your time? You know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with having girlfriends or other army wives and hanging out and doing stuff like that with. I think those things are I think they're good for the relationship.
I think army wives are dangerous. But y'all been there. Y'all know.
Army wives.
No, man. Cut it out.
I didn't say all. I didn't say all.
I think you got a question in the chat, bro.
Let's get this Sister Nodella.
I don't know who that was too.
So she said, so you'll wait until a life altering event happens, like an almost deathly alignment, to now prioritize your family. Is that towards Whitley, or is that towards something one of us said? I just a little clarity on that one. What is that towards? Because I think we said a lot. Do y'all know what she directing?
I'm not sure. I just seen it.
Yeah, because so I get what you were saying while we wait for Sister Nodella. I get what you were saying, but I'm looking at the same concept. Like, ain't that the reason why we planning the trip is to mask something? The reason why we trying to go on vacation, like if we're following the story, the vacation comes from masking her feelings of loneliness.
Yeah, if we're following the story, then yeah.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm like, hey, you need an outlet, and that's what I'm looking at. Like, even I got a job, but when I come home, there's moments I want to come sit in my office and turn on my stuff and play with some music.
Yeah, but like Coach said, it's about back to that word prioritization. What are we doing with the time that we have together? I know that I canceled the vacation 3 times, but in the midst of canceling the vacation, we went to the movies 3 times, and we took little Susie wherever. You know what I mean? So like, are they doing things in between to continue to build up that family structure and that family bond, and to teach and mentor those kids, and to just grow together? Are they still doing those things? And I don't know if we've gotten there yet, or if that's part of this or not. And I know I'm speculating, but those are just some extra thoughts.
Oh, no, speculate. Now the conversation got interesting because if we go back up, I think Sister Nodella did not pick B. She picked A. Let's look at.
Well, I think, if I may, I think she missed the storyline.
Okay, she came in.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, I think, and I'm not sure. I'm speculating because I seen when she spoke when she came in, so I think she missed the storyline in the beginning.
Okay, and so she's saying that her previous comment or question is towards Dwayne, really, the answers of whether he prioritizes the family vacation versus work.
Right. So when if you bring the questions back up, right? The question was in relation to him canceling family vacation because of a project that he was selected for by an executive. And then the options were, I think A was about telling him to prioritize vacation. B was about understanding his vision. C was make friends, and D was go shopping. So I'm not saying that family vacation is not something that you would do under a normal circumstance, but these aren't normal circumstances. He actually planned the vacation. They just had to cancel the vacation because of a work situation. So at the end of the day, telling him, I'm sorry, let me turn it around. Telling me to prioritize vacation when I already explained to you what happened may not necessarily be a conversation that'll work out well. But having a conversation, because again, I'm under understanding that he explained to her why he had to cancel the vacation. That's the assumption that's being made up front. And as long as that took place, we should not get into a spat over something that he can't control. And at the end of the day, especially when you start looking at a lot of these corporate spaces, when you are being selected for corporate product, not corporate product, you're being selected for special projects, it may not necessarily be the right thing to do to turn it down, because at the end of the day, that's your opportunity to make an impression. So that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. When you look at it, like telling him to prioritize vacation over work, it's not that he can in that particular, in that particular sense, based upon the scenario. However, maybe part of it is that, look, let me get past this and we can go on vacation at a later point in time, 6-7 months down the road, depending upon how long this project takes, depending upon the timeline, the due outs and things of that nature. So that's kind of like my whole point behind it. So no, I'm not saying prioritize work over vacation, because if you know me, you know I am not a big fan of work when it comes down to family anyway. But just needing to understand, reality versus what I may want in that particular stage is key.
Got anything, Unc?
No, I didn't chew enough for this.
I'm with Dwayne on this one. I do want to put that out there. Like, let's not get, and thank you, Coach, for bringing that back out, because we don't want it to get lost in conversation that family prioritization is important to have, and that's why I started out talking about that family and work life balance. How do we do that, right? But we have to be. But what we're doing, we're showing that you have to be fair in the conversation. There's a such thing, and I think we have to put this out to anybody, male, female, whatever, whoever is not uh the quote unquote breadwinner. I don't like that term, but in the home. But we have to be fair that sometimes we're asking people to sacrifice their ability to provide to make us feel better, and that is the difference. So it's not that we're saying prioritize work over the family, but we're saying, hey, in order for us to one day be able to do what we want to do, how we want to do, and be as comfortable as we want to be, we putting the work in right now. And that's how life works. We put the work in early. I think I heard someone was talking to Michael B. Jordan about why they don't never see, he's never pictures of him out and about drinking and nothing like that. And he said, well, I put all my work in early when I was young, so that when I get to a certain stage in my life, I could do what I want. I'm not going to party my good years away. He worked his good years. Uh, and that's, and and though some of us took the path of, go to college and we started working at 23, 24, or some of us joined the military at 17, 18, whatever, but put that work in now so that day comes. And then at that point, it's all about me and you. Kids out the house, retirement check coming in. Baby, I can take you where you want to go, We ain't got nothing but time.
I do got one alibi to my mom. So, this what she put up. She said, have a conversation with his wife and explain what's going on. So to this, I agree to this. The only thing about this is, just because we have the conversation, we explain what's going on, doesn't mean that it's going to be absorbed and taken in and received well. At some point, can you not just trust me? Hey, we've been together for 10 years. You know what I mean? The kids are 7, 8, and 9. Like, are you going to constantly be questioning me every time I have to, these changes adjust in our schedule, to whereas there's maybe, just like how we did when we wasn't all the way up when we was in the military. We were right here for a little bit. Then, all right, it's time to make sergeant. So we may press on the gas for a little bit, do some stuff, yada, yada, yada. Then we may come off of it for maybe a little bit, maybe not. But sometimes there's a down period in there. You know what I'm saying? But at some point, like, you signed up for this. We got 10 years in the game now. Like, come on, lady, are you on board or you not? You know what I'm saying? So I just think at some point where's the trust factor and where's my record of not being there for my family, not necessarily physically, because sometimes I just can't be there because of the job and the situation I'm in. But where's my track record showing that I'm not there? And why do you not trust me that I'm doing what's in the best interest of the family?
So this is where I get to expose a lie. Okay. Principles don't care who's wearing a shoe. Principles are principles. That's why you govern your life according to principles. If the shoe was on the other foot and she was the only person working and I was a stay-at-home dad, yes, it would be the same thing, because principles don't change. That's that. So it's a couple of lies that exist out there. First and foremost, there is no such thing as work-life balance. We made that up, or somebody made that up and started pushing it, and we adopted it to be a thing. There is no such thing as work-life balance. There are seasons in life to where certain things become priorities over others. When you're in Garfield, you and I talked about this on Coach's Corner one time. I think that show is still coming up. When you're in your earlier stages in life, the grind is the priority, because at the end of the day, you're building. once you get to the point to where you build something meaningful and lasting and more stable, now the grind is no longer important. Now the thrive becomes important. So in that stage, you can do whatever it is you want to do. You can go on vacation. You can go on a vacation for a week if that's what you can afford to do. But in these stages right here, the grind is the grind, and that's an unfortunate thing, but it is a reality to it. So when you live your life according to principles, it's not about him or her or whoever it is. It's all about grind season or thrive season. But there is no such thing as work-life balance. We're trying to find balance, which simply means that you're not focused on anything. You're going to have to select a focus and focus there. It's not that you're saying that these people aren't important. It's not that you're saying doing these things aren't important. It's that you're saying this thing that I'm focused on is for them. And when you understand that, now that changes the entire narrative. I can't focus and balance at the same time. Because if I'm focused on what this thing that I'm focused on to get the ball rolling and get momentum going, I am out of balance. Once I start focusing on balance, I am out of focus. So you're going to have to choose one.
I got nothing to add to that. Let's move on to this next stage. You got an alibi?
And I just want to be clear on what I'm saying. I'm not saying that anything she said was a lie. I'm talking about the lie of work-life balance and the narrative that they push on us, and we fight to try to obtain that.
Yeah, I definitely got that. I hope that didn't get lost in context. I definitely got that. And I think that's really what we've been all talking about, understanding that there's a season. And Ecclesiastes teaches that, right? We believers up here, right? That for everything there's a season, right? That means there's a time to work and a time to play. And right now it may be work season, so let me work, right? But man, there's so much more we could pull out of that. But we gotta roll. This portion of the conversation is what direction are they going? So we have two options: danger or safety. And then brothers, you can explain how we got to danger, or why is it danger or safety, or however you want to expound on that. All right. So the first thing is Whitley has chosen to find new friends, causing her to not have as much time at home, right? Meaning, she's not doing some of the things that maybe Dwayne expects when he gets home. She didn't have enough time to cook, so she's maybe just starting dinner, or whatever routine he's become accustomed to has taken sort of a back seat because she's been more out of the house.
I believe they are going in the direction of danger. She is out there doing whatever. I don't think that is part of the vision. His time being away from the family is being productive and about trying to create a legacy for his family. Hers is about going out there to try to accomplish or get some feeling, or to fill some void that she's not getting on her own. So I believe that this is dangerous, and that's a dangerous route.
Danger, Will Robinson. And I get it. Everything that Uncle just said, but again, what's the priorities? Is the priorities just getting friends, or is the priority the family? Is the family the most important person in this relationship now? Or is it you, because you're just out there collecting friends, right? Like social media. So that's kind of like my point. Like when you start focusing on the friend and just living your best life, another lie, right? Danger.
Maybe if I unmute my mic, I concur. I'm with you. Danger, right? And that was exactly my point. Was it became about a you versus him thing. his time, and both of y'all kind of just hit it all together, brought it all the way full. He's being productive. You're trying to get fulfillment, and now you created a you versus him. So now are you trying to make him feel guilty for providing? But next one, make sure nobody in the division of what they discussed is being forgotten. That's Adrian Artist. 2, they begin to argue over Dwayne's job, his time spent on the job, his effort becoming a point of contention in the home, and it's starting to become an argument. Where are we at?
In the words of Mystical, danger. Get on the floor, bro. If y'all arguing, then y'all probably not using effective communication. And someone is not being heard and someone's not listening. So you're probably not getting to the root of the problem. So this is dangerous all day long. I understand having conversations about it, but again, like I said earlier, at some point, come on, sister, do you trust me or not? Like, I'm out here trying to build this legacy. You arguing about these extra couple of hours, but you ain't got no problem. You know what I mean? Swiping that credit card. You know what I mean? Kids in private school, like private school ain't cheap. Private school come with a couple of extra hours sometimes. So, like Coach said, why are we over here arguing in the first place? Dangerous.
Yeah, I agree. I just like in the beginning, my job wasn't a problem. Now that we've had this time together, we got these 3 kids. You're no longer working. You chose not to work, by the way. And my job is, the job that, we agreed upon, that I was going to do this, that we were going to do this. And the job is paying all of the bills, taking care of everything, so forth and so on. And now we're arguing about that. Like, what is the real, I think Charlotte Jordan mentioned this previously. Like, what is the root cause behind all of this? What insecurity are you hiding that is being so problematic in the space of this relationship to where it is driving a wedge in this relationship? Like, what's really going on? I'm not going to argue with you about having to go to work, right? When you were working, I wasn't arguing with you needing to go to work. But what is the root cause behind it? What insecurity is there? Like, what's the question behind the question that we need to ask?
Work. We arguing about work.
Yeah, that's that. I like that. I like that. Man, I have nothing to ask. Nick D said, Whitley is delusional. She wants all the things her way, no matter the scenario.
So I would like for Adrian Artist to add a little bit more to that, because she said the communication is being ignored. To that, what is it to communicate about? I'm on the wheel.
Well, maybe she is saying that she is ignoring his communication about what's going on with him at work. Right. So
that part too.
Sure.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, after these 3 kids, like, I don't even know why we don't even need to be having a conversation. I mean, at some point, I'm saying, hey, look, I'm about to go to the field next month for 30 days. Like, that's the end of the conversation. Or how much do you need? What do they need? You know what I mean? Once I say that, it's not, I don't know what else to say after that.
But we do have those soldiers who don't let their spouses know. Don't do the right thing. We've all seen it, especially as leaders. Those soldiers who left their family, went to the field, and did nothing to prepare. Took the money with them, took the car, parked the car at the job. Knowing they had one car family, didn't say nothing. Just never came home, and you out in the field for 2 weeks.
I heard about those soldiers. I ain't have soldiers like that.
Oh, well,
I made sure.
I ain't have them either.
Listen, I made sure. Because I told him, if your spouse called me, I'm coming straight to you with the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Right. I've seen them. I had when I was E4, I had some bad boys. You get out to the field and you're liking to him like, bruh, what? And one of them, his her daddy came, picked her up, took her back to Georgia, where they came from. Her and the kids, like, hey, you abandoned them with no money, no car, no. Was that a control move? So there is. So I can see it on both ends, though. So,
She was at Disneyland.
yeah, good. Nick D said Whitley's delusional. She wants all things her way, no matter the scenario. So that was a response to that.
Yeah.
The next one, Whitley becomes unbothered and avoids conversations. Like she doesn't really care to talk about pretty much anything. She's just,
Man, look, I'm pulling for Whitley, whatever her name is. I'm pulling for her because she's making it hard for me, bro. I mean, like for real. Like none of this is productive. Danger. That's all I got.
I'm with Coach. Danger. It's hard. Like you ain't happy about nothing. Like what is it you got going on in you? It's causing all of this chaos and seem like everything good. Like you said, the man he ain't out chasing women. He ain't at the bar every night. He ain't at home playing PlayStation all night long with his boys and stuff. Like, gotta be productive. He looking out for your future. Why you don't see that? Danger.
well, Coach brings up a good point about what's the underlying question, because this is a scenario, right? Vague on purpose so that we can pull whatever we can pull out. So we don't know that. We're assuming he ain't playing video games.
I mean, as of right now, ain't nothing came up about it. He ain't don't seem like he got time for video games.
I mean,
on that wheel, he grinding.
That's true.
And he canceling vacation. He ain't canceling vacation because they got a 2K tournament coming up. He canceled vacation because he trying to get that. He trying to get that extra zero.
And Big D said that man is at work. Leave him be.
Falling out.
Can you bring up Adrian Artist's statement, please? Adrian, we cool now. I was in your corner a few seconds ago. Right? When you came back and you said definitely, and I got you. You never changed the vision, right? I don't care if we're talking corporate America. I don't care if we're talking family dynamics. If you got a vision from the Most High, the vision doesn't change. Corporate America, you don't change the vision. You change the way that you accomplish it once you realize that what you started doing is not working according to the original plan. You don't change the strategic goals that come from that vision. You change the way that you attack them. The vision doesn't change. We can talk about it all day long, but once we get finished talking, we're going to keep that same vision and change the way we operate.
So is there a time that the vision changes?
Nope.
Unless it's been told to you, unless the person who gave you the vision changes the vision. And if that happens, the person who gave it to you, the Most High. So if he gave you the vision, at some point, if he decided to change it, he would let you know, assumingly, right?
I don't think he's changing vision. because that's not who he is. He's unchanged. Right? That's just a part of his character, right? So if we take that approach, his character is he doesn't change the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. So if he gave you a vision, there's a purpose behind that vision. So the vision can't change until purpose is fulfilled.
So do you think that it would be sometimes we misinterpret the vision? Like say for instance, people like, oh man, I'm supposed to do this, right? God told me to do this, right? And they're on that path for a certain amount of time, and then they know they're like, well, it didn't work on. Oh, God told me to do this. You know what I mean? So it's like not necessarily that the vision changed, but is that more so that their perception or how they interpreted the vision, or maybe they didn't get the vision in the first place? You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think there are moments where we believe the vision is this, but as we start to pursue the plan, the vision looks more like this, right? The vision is going to be clear and concise, but once you get into it, you're going to realize that the vision is more than you, right? It's not just you. It takes more than one person to actually accomplish this vision. When you have a vision, when you think it's just you, like I can almost guarantee you that and I won't say a false interpretation, it's a narrow scope. Once you get into it, you realize that, oh, this was a whole lot more than what I imagined. So yeah.
But here's the part. Everybody's quoting Habakkuk. Lisa posted it, but everybody, if you can see Lisa, I know if you're not on YouTube, you won't see her comment. Oh, we could pull it up. Read the end of that verse, of verse 2, right? And he answered unto me, write the vision, make it plain on tablets. Why? So he may run who reads it. You may be the one getting the vision. Don't mean you're gonna be the one to run with it. Write it, make it plain, so that he who reads it may run. Like that's so there's an understanding that you got the vision, but somebody got to run. And guess what, Whitley? You might be my runner. Right? You my partner in this. He gave me the vision. I make it plain. I'm gonna do my part. So there has to be that understanding that you have a role to play in this. So when we started talking about the family has not become the important portion no more to her, or not important, but has not become important in the scenario to her, that's the problem. Because if I'm right, if the vision is made plain, now the problem could be, and I think that's kind of where you were going on. The problem could be maybe he didn't lay the vision out all the way. Because I'm always going to err on the side as the man. What have I done everything I need to do to make sure this vision was made plain?
Right.
And then if so, I need you, I as Whitley, I need you to examine how you can play your part to run in this vision. I made it plain. We laid it out. We made the vision board, as you brought up, right? Now, how do you accomplish your part in this? Because that's what the help that what Lisa Keys put up there. She put help me, right? If you're my helpmeet or helpmate, however you want to say it, I need you to start running with me and stop trying to run against me. Because once you start looking at what you're getting out of it, you're now working against me. Because I'm doing the provision for you is already in the vision. When that check clears, there's some provision. Yeah, man, we running on time. We run. This conversation got good quick. Our hearts and minds clear. We go keep rolling.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right. Last one on this portion. They go to bed together. Yep, go on scratch. But intimacy really happens.
I guess they ain't working on number 4. Hey, Coach brought it up. Danger. You know what I mean? If y'all start getting off the track, you know what I'm saying? And this ain't necessarily consensual. I mean, you asking for trouble. I'm not saying what that trouble is. I'm not necessarily saying this means that somebody going to step out, but I do mean that if that is something that you guys have shared in the past, and it's been a part or a healthy part of you guys' relationship, and to remove any piece of your relationship that is healthy and that is bond building, I think is negligent to the relationship. You know, we're speaking about just the bedroom in this place, but anything that you kind of that draws a wedge between that is definitely danger. But yeah, when you guys are everything good, you got the 3 kids and stuff, and now you're working late and stuff like that, and intimacy rarely happens. I think it's more danger.
I have a very unpopular response, and I'm gonna ask everybody for grace before I make it. He who plays stupid games wins stupid prizes. I'm just gonna start off by saying that. Play around if you want to. That's a successful man. there's always a side chick with a biscuit looking to make his life easier. So I know people like to do things for punishment, right? That's not a lane of punishment that you really want to go down. I got the whole feeling unfulfilled, not being happy, and all that other great stuff. Listen, I'm just telling you the honest truth, right? Play around if you want to, right? Because what you cannot do is talk about one transgression if you're not willing to own your own transgression. You know what, Miss?
I know. That's why I started laughing. Then I had to stop because you
her
was still
comment.
talking.
Listen, I just seen her comment. She be on it, man. She be
I
on
just
it.
remember
too.
from last
Shout
week.
out to Charlotte Jordan, man. She is on it. We were talking about that the other day. That's it. That's it.
I get it. You know, like I said, you asking for trouble. Now, whether somebody go off step out or whether somebody ain't happy, like I don't know.
And like I said, I know that's unpopular. I get it. I know a comment like that doesn't make, and I'm just being transparent. I know comments like that don't make women feel empowered, right? But it's not to disempower you, right? But it's also recognizing that you're married. And if you understand what the scripture said, that should not happen. There should be no withholding when it comes down to that. That's scripture. I didn't make that up. So when we elect to do that outside of that certain point in time that you're supposed to do, y'all know what I'm talking about, except for that time when you elect to do it because you mad, you upset, whatever the case may be. Okay. Okay. And again,
I'm mad when I go to work.
And I'm not saying that is right. Right? I'm just saying.
You set the conditions.
Side chicken or biscuit. That's all it takes sometimes.
I'd be mad. I don't be want to go to work all the time. I'd be mad when I had to write that check, pay that mortgage every month. Think I want to do that every month? You want to pay all them bills every month? Just saying. So everybody sometimes. Never mind. I ain't going there. We ain't talking about that tonight.
So then let give me grace for a couple minutes, chat. So with that said, why is it that I hear this conversation so often, right? Where brothers are constantly if you get in a round table of brothers, married brothers, they've been married for a little bit of time, the conversation tends to lead to the joke of, yeah, you married, or yeah, you stopped getting something probably about like a year ago, probably like 2 years ago. You was few and far, maybe once or twice a year, 3 times a year for special occasions, anniversaries, birthdays, maybe Christmas for Jesus' birthday, right? Like, and these are jokes that we tell, but they're based off of the fact that it's a shared experience among married men.
It's that Janet Jackson theology. It's control.
Business over fun or pleasure.
Might be delayed.
It might be okay. I was going to ask Sister Burns. You got to share more with that one. We're going to try to run through these. Where do we go from here? Because I don't want to end everything on a bad note. Y'all could bring us
Stacey Lattisaw. Stacey Lattisaw and Johnny Gill. I'm just saying. My bad, man.
Hey, we come from control to let's go. So where do we go from here? One, Dwayne argues about the intimacy of the relationship, as we just spoke. He claims he'd be home more if they did it more.
Dwayne has just switched over into manipulating now.
Let's stay on one. On one. We're gonna.
I'm sorry. My bad.
No. You. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Dwayne has just switched over and manipulating now.
Yeah. Now they're down. Now he's down to making deals. Yeah. It ain't good.
I think there's no bueno. I'm with y'all. do play that. Right. 2. I'm going to try to move quick. Whitley argues about Dwayne's time and commitment at work. Dwayne claims after he makes partner or whatever, he'll have more money and free time. She just needs to support him a little bit longer.
So where do they go from here? I think they from here. I think that's at least a start. At least he let her know, say, hey, look, I have been thinking about you. Look, there is going to be a time to whereas I will be off the wheel. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have a problem with him communicating that with her. But I think at least this is a start and this is something they can build on or not. Because like I said, like why we keep having this conversation, like working these hours, that's how it's gonna be. But at some point, but I guess sometimes it seems like maybe right here, maybe he's reassuring her. And I don't necessarily have a problem with that. You know, if it take me a couple minutes to reassure you that, you know, we still are where we are, then I'm okay with that.
I want to agree with that. I really do. Because it sounds like a common sense argument.
Yeah.
But the minute that I take money and link money to time and say that more money gives me more time, in our minds, we think that's a true statement because in all actuality, we look at the amount of time that we don't have because we are in essence trading time for dollars. But at the end of the day, time is infinitely more valuable than money. And so until I understand that, I won't disconnect those two. I have to get to the point to where I learn to disconnect those two. So even in this conversation is the beginning of a conversation that's going to happen 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, so forth and so on. Because at the end of the day, having more money is the endless goal in pursuit of itself. You'll never get to the point to where more money equates to enough. Because what happens after he make partner? Well, then the next promotion is available. And then somebody's going to say, man, you made partner so fast. There's no doubt that you might be the next in line for senior vice president. Oh, wait, what? So now I got him. I'm in the race again.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. And I'm kind of teeter-tottering between both because I do because I'm with you, Dwayne, unless this is the plan. If we make partner, this will be where we stop the move at.
But
see, I don't rock with that because it's like, all right, so I made these 7. So let's just be okay with making someone first class.
Right.
They come over and make master sergeant. You know what I'm saying? Like when you on that wheel and you got a chance to make it to the top as a man, ego or not, maybe it ain't ego. Maybe it's about building a better lifestyle for your family, but maybe it's about just chasing. Maybe it's about chasing. Maybe it's just about going with passion. Maybe you enjoy and love what you're doing. But yeah, we ain't stopping right here just because. Nah.
But here's the other point.
Mm-hmm.
The higher up you go, the more demand for your time becomes.
Absolutely.
That part too.
Now that's where my split happens right there. Is it's not realistic to say if I make partner, I have more free time. I think a lot of soldiers believe that. If I get promoted, I got more free psych. You got building.
You have more flexibility sometimes in your schedule.
You might, but not more free time. Like as a soldier, I'm as a junior, I'm where I'm told, when I'm told, what uniform I'm told. I'm not. That's my limitations. As an NCO, it's the same thing, but I may have a little more wiggle room to go to like you said, to be a little more flexible. But depending on your MOS, that's rare. I'm a 42 alpha.
Private, I always had free time.
Sure.
I was in the barracks playing Sega Genesis.
You must
combat.
You must have been a fueler. You know,
I was a combat engineer, brother.
Oh,
so I was mechanized though.
Oh, so he didn't have a job most of his career. So, you know, there's a difference.
I had to really use this.
Hey, let's keep us so we don't get stuck. They start taking boxing classes together as a family twice a week.
It's a way to blow off steam, but again, does that solve the problem?
I'm
And I
with,
mean,
I'm with, yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, now I'm about to say, and I commend them on doing it together. But if you're not solving the problem, that boxing ain't gonna solve the problem for you. You might start boxing each other.
I can see this being I mean, can it be a positive? Yeah, it can be a positive thing. Like you said, Coach said, blowing off steam and stuff. But are we doing it to bond? Do we really like doing it? Do she really want to be at the boxing class, or really is she just doing it so we could just spend more time together? You know what I mean? So it's a lot more that goes into it. But like his coach said, yeah, blowing off the steam is part of it. But what's the other part of that? And is it sustainable? Y'all got 3 kids in private school right now.
For the sake of time, let's jump down to let's just jump down to the last one. Number 6, Dwayne suggests that their marriage can use a reset. So he suggests they start going to counseling and start taking some accountability in their relationship.
I'm an advocate for going to counseling, but here's my concern. They ain't took accountability for nothing yet. What makes you think you're gonna start now? And then the other part, going to counseling is okay, but you got to realize when you go to counseling, what you're going to focus on. You're not focusing on the future. You're focusing on the past and the things that got you to where you are, and talking about this person's feelings and that person's feelings as it pertains to the past. But how are you going to plot your course moving forward? What does that look like? Right. So I can appreciate the suggestion, but it sounds like this is only part of a plan.
And see, here's mine. So Dwayne is suggesting it, right? But I think he's really only suggesting it because of how Whitley has been feeling this entire time. If you look at the chat, people are tired of Whitley, tired of her. You know what I mean? They've been getting on her nerve. They sick of her at this point. They called her delusional. So it seems like Whitley is the one with the problem. So maybe we don't need couples counseling. Maybe Whitley is the one who needs to go to counseling. Maybe she's the one who needs coaching or something like that. He seems to be the one with the problem. I'm an advocate of counseling just like Coach is. I'm an advocate of coaching. I'm an advocate of spending money to an expert who can give you and offer you skills and support and a plan that can help you and your spouse. I am 100% for it. But it seems like right here, he only doing it maybe to please her. I know we're not on danger or nothing. I don't say it's 1-on-1, but it is kind of like
So
we need to go back to the vision. We already know what to do. Just be accountable. Understand that I'm on the wheel. This is how it's going to be right now. And just accept the vision that you already accepted at some point in the first place.
Yeah, and I see that. I also see a scenario where, okay, I didn't expect that was left field. But I also see a scenario to where, so this is not going to reset, to where the counseling allows her to see that, hey, it's me. Like I think that's a plus to it. Maybe that's why he's pulling out. Maybe he's like, okay, you're not going to hear it from me because we argue whenever I say this. You're not receiving. Let's go to counseling or mediator, whatever that looks like, right? So that someone else can show us. And then sometimes that mirror being held up by somebody else's hand other than your spouse can help you say, oh, I need to make some changes. I need to start moving differently. Because if they see it, if this whole chat see it, maybe I'm the problem. And my apologies on the order. We're gonna go on Coach, and then I'll close it out. So it is that bittersweet moment. Y'all know we love having these conversations with y'all. We thank y'all for bearing with me. But it's time for our final thoughts.
Great conversation tonight. And if you are hearing the sound of my voice, please go back and watch this one again. This was a really good one. We were talking about, careers, and we were going through this whole thing with Dwayne and Whitley. And at the end of the day, if you find yourself in a situation to whereas, you are in a relationship to where one person is working a lot of hours and one person is feeling a certain kind of way and kind of feeling left out. I think both of those people, especially the person that's feeling left out, take a look in the mirror and try to figure out why you're feeling left out, why you feeling lonely, and these different things like that. And I think if you take some time to take a look at yourself and try to figure out what the real reason is and try to support the person who is um who is going along with the vision, I think together it'll be more effective for both you guys going together. So because there is a problem right there, but the issue is sometimes people don't necessarily see what the problem is. In this situation, she was assuming that the problem was the job, but the problem wasn't the job. The problem was, and it seems like in most cases, it was her insecurities or something she may or may not have dealt with. So if you're in this situation and you feel like you're that person, you may have some insecurities. So go out there, get a coach or get a therapist or get somebody that can help you, somebody who's actually trained and have skills that can help you as you go through all of this. And that is my final thought.
This was actually pretty fun. I enjoyed this conversation. I think there's a lot of Dwayne and Whitleys out there, if I'm being completely transparent. There's a lot of people who rush to the finish line getting married before they even really understand what marriage is all about. I think one of the biggest things that we can do to help in situations like this is to teach young adults not to be so quick to say, I do. Take time to get to know the person that you're involved with. I am not a fan of a job taking priority over family. I think that's important and needs to be said. If, like I've said it before, and I continue to say it, the family itself is supposed to be a business. And if we did it the right way, if we do it the right way, and not buy into the false narratives that are taught to us at a very young age, then what we'll do is we'll start working on something for ourselves early on in life so that as we get older, we're working together on that thing. However, unfortunately, we spend a whole lot of time chasing the corporate, trying to climb the corporate ladder. Like a lot of times we end up leaving our family behind, and then you end up finding yourself in this scenario. So again, I love the notion of counseling. I love the notion of coaching. Again, you're going to have to invest in yourself so that you can start to rewire some of these programs that you actually have in your head that is running the system unbeknownst to you. Make no mistake about it, there is a program that is existing behind the scenes that are making you do the things that you actually do. So if at any given point you don't necessarily understand that you need to talk to somebody, last but not least, I think it is and has always been problematic if you're in a marriage and you can't take corrective criticism from your spouse, regardless of what that looks like. So if I can't hear what my spouse is actually saying and I got to go to somebody else and for them to convince me that what my spouse is saying is the right thing, that might be a sign and that might be an indicator. And that is my final thought.
My apology. I appreciate everyone. This conversation to me, I felt like it brought out a lot of aspects. So I do appreciate the panel. I appreciate you brothers in the chat. You were live today, and I think it's been put out there all evening that together is what we should be focusing on. My feelings, your feelings. Does it really matter if it's not about the betterment of the unity? If it's about solely me or solely you, then it becomes problematic. There is no you, me, there is us. And once we start dividing the home, we're preparing for destruction. We're preparing for separation. Oftentimes, I see people do things on purpose because we're looking for an out. We don't need. we don't need outs. We got into this relationship together, and the only goal that it should be is to honor God in this relationship. Now, what that looks like, it depends. Each relationship is different, but I cannot run because things didn't pan out the way I thought it would. I can't leave because it's not the relationship I saw on TV. I can't leave because I don't look like whoever off of whatever show or whatever movie I grew up watching, my favorite love love movie or what have you. These things are romanticized, but it's only snapshots. Even if there's a version of what you saw on TV, it's only a snapshot. It's not the full life story. There are hard times. There may be some easy times, but we got to get through the hard times, and we got to get through them together. So that's all I have. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already liked the hit the like button, go ahead and hit the like button. Follow the channel if you haven't. If you're new here, follow the community. Stay connected because Sister Crystal is constantly updating us on what we have going forward for our Coaches Corner, for our Saturday, because that's third and fourth Saturdays, correct? We have the reframing of relationships. I know I always mess that one up. So
the hearts of women every third Saturday, and reframing the image of relationships every fourth Saturday.
And every Tuesday you can catch Coach's Corner, and every Sunday you can catch us live on TikTok for our Sunday brunch. This week, I believe, is it you, Coach? All right, it'll be on Dwayne Dwyer, the Mindset Coach's TikTok page. So stay connected with us. Let's keep building. Let's keep growing. So please check the show notes to register for August 16th webinar. You want to tell them more about that?
Yeah, August 16th, Mindset, Habit, and Power Summit. Check the show notes and make sure that you guys register. Like Crystal said, it's free. It is from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. You got 3 guest speakers, and it ought to be fun. So, yeah, if you haven't registered, make sure that you register. Do it now. No, I'm joking.
With that said, hey, I love you all. I'm glad to be here and be a part of this family. And we see you on Sunday.